Hello, beautiful mamas. Are you feeling like you're running on empty lately? Do you suffer from what John Mark Comer calls sunset fatigue, where by day's end you have nothing left to give your spouse or your children? Today, I would like to give you some encouragement. I will be taking you through a mom day with self-care that I had recently with 5 distinct wins, and if you stick around until the end, I've got a real nugget for you that should help with any resistance that your brain is giving you about applying this principle into your life. One of mine and my kids' favorite summer activities is going to the reservoir. We used to live really close to it, and now in our new house, it's a bit more of a drive, so we hadn't gone yet this summer, and we really wanted to, so we made a plan to go. And on that particular morning, it was one of those mornings when things just aren't going awesome. It's pretty rocky as far as the kids getting along or them being pleasant, but I was sticking to the plan because I knew that it was probably going to be an easier day going there than staying at home. It might just turn this day around, right? Who knows? That was my first checkpoint on this mom day with self-care. Me thinking through that it would be best for me if we still went to the reservoir instead of getting hung up on if they deserve to go and if I should cancel to kind of teach them a lesson. Have you ever made that mistake? Given your kids a consequence and then you realize that you're actually just punishing yourself? I was trying to avoid that, so I was following through with the plan and I was working to get all of our stuff and our food ready for this day. I got a notification while I was doing that my husband was Marco Poloing me. It's a video messaging app that we use, and it honestly doesn't happen very often during a morning because usually he's in meetings at work. So I was nearing the end of my patience with my kids, all their shenanigans, and I just took a deep breath, told them to go get busy playing for a bit while I finished up, and I put some headphones in and listened to the message from my husband while I was packing stuff up. This was the second checkpoint, noticing that I was reaching my limit and actually doing something to take care of myself. I did this by telling my kids I needed a little bit of space and then listening to what I wanted to listen to. Now, by the way, I have 3 kids, ages 4, 7, and 10, so I can get away with expecting a pretty significant amount of independence from them for a certain stretch of time. That wouldn't be the case if I had, a much younger child. So by this point in the story, I can honestly say I was honestly in a pretty bad mood. It was probably about 9:30 a.m. and I was already ready for this day to be over. But the show must go on, right? We mamas don't get to just ditch our responsibilities. So I finished packing up and my husband was still messaging me. I was still listening and I was really enjoying it. And so I packed the kids in the car and told them that they could listen to the radio while I finished listening to my message on my phone. This was the third checkpoint, or the third win. I guess I should be calling these wins because that's really what they were. Using the audio on my phone for me and letting my kids be patient for their turn with my phone to play Disney music through the Bluetooth. That's usually how we spend car rides. But truly, this was the first time I've ever set this boundary with them, and they certainly were not happy about it, but it was such a gift to myself to start the drive this way. They enjoyed their Disney music for about the last half of the drive, and once we got there, I still felt like I was running on empty. Even after the self-care that I had already done through the morning, right? I had had 3 wins by this point. It was still so hard for me to muster positivity and energy to play and engage with my kids. I just truly didn't have it in me to do it in a real authentic way. And so, checkpoint or win number 4, I got the kids situated, and when all the requests for my help and my attention came rolling in, because that's how it goes, I informed my kids that I brought them here so that they could enjoy themselves and I was going to relax for a little bit on our beach blanket. None of them even put up a fuss. It was just super helpful for them to have a clear expectation that I wasn't going to be looking at every single little thing or interacting a ton with them for the next little while. I just poloed my husband back and then truly just kind of leaned back and soaked up the sunshine. Throughout my journey to self-care, I have really learned that vitamin D is a huge source of happiness for me. It just genuinely energizes me and literally fills my soul. And so I now get to the best part of the story, which is that after doing that for about 30 to 40 minutes, just kind of relaxing in the sunshine, I actually found myself feeling ready to go and engage with my kids. I felt my cup being filled and was ready to share some of that with them. I love my kids. I want to be with them. I want to play with them and help them. I want to be happy about the mom that I'm being for them. But it took me filling my own cup so that I could actually pour into theirs. It was a very real physical capacity that I gained during that time for myself. So then, checkpoint number 5, I hung out with my kids, doing what they wanted to do, and because I was in a good place, it added to my joy and happiness. Now, this experience truly was so impactful for me. It was one of the first times that I saw clear as day the effect that self-care has on our motherhood journey. We cannot show up as our best selves for our kids if we are not taking care of ourselves. So how do we do that? Because the last time I checked, my kids need me every second of every day, right? It can feel really impossible to find a way to squeeze in anything for ourselves. And by the way, our culture has taught us that motherhood is all about self-sacrifice. If you're anything like I was, you might be convinced that anything you do for yourself is you being selfish or neglecting your responsibilities. We can be faced with a lot of guilt if we ever do something for ourselves, which the guilt only makes us less likely to do it in the future. And to top it all off, even if you don't have those reservations, which I genuinely hope you don't, you may have a hard time just simply fitting it into your schedule. After all, as moms, there are endless to-dos. Okay, the good news is there is a solution for anyone in either of those boats, and the solution is to find win-wins. We want to find ways to make it so that everyone wins. Child development experts Foster Cline and Jim Fay, who wrote Love and Logic, say that for many unhappy parents and their entitled, demanding children, life becomes a one-way street. In order to raise respectful, thoughtful children who grow to take good care of themselves, we need to model responsible, healthy adult behavior by taking good care of ourselves and finding wins. We want to feel good, and we want our children to feel good. It really is that simple. Identify the ways for you to win and for your kids to win. My kids got to play at the reservoir. I got to relax for a bit. They got to listen to their music for part of the time. I got to listen to my stuff for part of the time. It is a fact that when we take care of ourselves, everyone wins, especially our kids. Having a happier, more patient, and loving mom is absolutely what we want for our kids, and taking care of ourselves is a key ingredient to making that happen. You ladies are incredible. Your kids are so lucky to have you, and I will see you soon.